Hi guys, this is my PowerPoint presentation over chapter 5 in our book. And this chapter was basically just about creating patterns and mental models through imagery and through different things in technology and how to use them in the classroom. So first, there are 6 strategies that are used to create these models with graphics and mental models. The first one is identifying basic relationships between ideas. The second one is creating graphic representations. Third is drawing and sketching. The fourth is generating mental images. The fifth is conducting thought experiments. And performing mental rehearsal is the sixth one. This is important just because our brains think better in patterns and crave the connections between the patterns and the relationship between those ideas. This is one thing that the theorist Brunner said, and this is why we have Common Core in the 21st century skills, is so that you can make those connections to apply it instead of just going along and only having it for the test. Then you can make the connections and make it actually stick in your brain, and this is why we learn these strategies to help us. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is identifying basic relationships. The basic unit of a thought is a proposition, and this is just a single clause. This is just the way our brain works and always has worked in thoughts and in thinking. An example of this is just Jaden is in class, or Jaden is in Kansas. He likes candy. Very simple, very non-complex ways of thinking through this way. When thinking gets more complex, which it is very complex, it's when these propositions are strung together, and there's 4 different ways they can be strung together. The first one is addition, and the symbols are all right there too, just that the book shared that there's symbols that identify those. For if you're reading about this, you can determine where the relationships are. So the first one is addition, and this is what is similar or adds to the single cause. So Jaden is in class and is tired. That and word is adding to that Jaden is in class. The second one is contrast. This is when it doesn't go with or it subtracts from the clause itself. So Jaden is in class, but she will leave early. This is just a but statement. Those always work for the word but, or anything that just takes away from what was said before. The next one is time. This is a statement that goes with it, stated during the time, before the time, or after the statement. So Jaden is in class, and then she will go to lunch. So this is that Jaden is in class before she goes to lunch, and then after the class, she will go to lunch. So the 2 separate causes would be Jaden is in class, Jaden will go to lunch. They're added together with time. That's how that one works. And the next one is cause. This is a cause or condition of the statement. So an example of that would be Jaden is in class because she wants to get her education degree. This is just saying any word that has because, or any sentence that has because, or any causation of that condition is a cause statement. And so those are just the basic relationships that are everywhere in our mind, and they're everywhere in what we read and what we identify with, and just literally in every single part of our day, there's these basic relationships that our brain forms. The next section of the strategies is being able to make graphic representations and identify them. There are a lot of different types of representation, and this section is just basically explaining that there's a lot of different types of learners, and a lot of learners are visual type learners who need to see things to understand them. So this is a way to just organize those thoughts, or any type of reading, or anything that you need to do can be represented graphically through these representations that are listed. And these are just different types of resources that can be used, different types of think maps. A circle map is defining in context. So the shapes that are here are the parameters of thought. So if you were discussing, let's see, the example here is the Sudan independence. The Sudan independence right here is where the main idea is. This is what was learned for this student about it and how they found out, and then this is their experience with hearing about it in those other ones. So there can be different levels of the shapes that are there, and every shape represents just a border of thought. So this first border is how they heard about it. The second border is what they learned, and this border right in the middle is just the main idea itself. So then the next one is a bubble map, and this is just adjectives describing the main theme. So it can be color, shape, smell, what they know about it. And the example here for this one is a violin. So it's wooden, it's historic, virtually unchanged, beautiful, just what they have found in their research or in any type of evidence that they have found, and then the parameter around there is their experience. So with this bubble map, you can add their own experience and own thoughts about it with just the concepts. So this person said, I saw and heard violins at the symphony. My friends play violin. I held the violin. They could say something like, I do not like the sound a violin makes. Anything like that could be around there. The next one is a problem and solution map. This helps students just think through elements of problem solving. So this can be used for math, for an English problem, for historical events. They can make a problem and solution map. And this is what it looks like. It is right here. Actually, it is right here. So the problem that this person has is they want to raise money for charity. Their goal, and these are the different steps that is involved in this type of mapping, is that you have a problem, you have a goal you want to meet. The next one is something that could constrain you or that is in your way, and then you have your possible solutions down here. And so you have your problem, your goal, your obstacles. So you list all those things just so you know what's going on. And then once you have one possible solution, you see if that solution works. If it's solved, then you're done and your problem solved. Or if it's not solved, then you move on to another solution. And you keep doing that until you can make an actual solution that works. So this person had 3 solutions, and you don't know which one worked, but whatever one did work for them, they would put on this side right here. And so then you would just move on from that. The next one is an experiment map, and this helps students just make a hypothesis and generate all the scientific methods for this. So this has observation and description of what they're doing. This has background knowledge, and then explanation, prediction, and experiment, and so they can further make their hypothesis and potentially write a lab write-up with this one. This just has the results, predictions, and then they just keep going with what they think will happen. And this could help with anything with observations and trying to find explanations to something. It doesn't just have to be science. Then the next one is just a decision-making map, which can be used in any type of way in a classroom. If there's a behavior issue, they can go through this and why did they make that decision and what was the outcome? What could I do differently to make that decision? It can be used in math for how to solve a problem. It can be used in history of how you make an executive decision. It can be used in science for making a hypothesis. This could be used in any way. And so this one looks like this. And so this is the 0 through 3 is basically the 0 is I do not want to do this. This does not sound good to me. The 3 is this meets what I want to do. And so this person had the criteria version of it where they wanted the criteria to meet. So they had a list of people and deciding who did each of those things. So advocated for civil rights. Albert Einstein didn't really advocate for civil rights, but Gandhi did more. And so it just goes through there. You can use this to make a decision about the different kind of cars you want to buy. You could put them all up at where these names are and then go through of what you want with a car and if those meet them, and then add up the numbers and see which one has the highest amount and which meets your best criteria of what you want to do or what decision you want to make. And so the last one is probably the most fun one for students. They can have an invention map or just an idea map. This looks like this, and it's basically the steps that are needed in this is Um, the desired improvement is the first one. So what do you need in your life that is the need for this invention or this idea? So for this person, they want to take Skipper in the car without getting dog hair. So what that need is there, that the dog hair is on the seats, so they don't want it there. So then they make standards. So the standards for their invention were keep the dog hair off the seats. It's comfortable and easy to use. So then from there, after you know what you want to do and know what parameters it needs to meet, you can make a list of ideas to achieve that. So after that, you have those possible ideas, and then you can go on to create the prototype. So in the prototype that they did a doggy cape, and it covers the seat, and so that's their prototype. And then they tested it, and then they decided the what the results were and how to make it better. And so this is what happened with this, is that they created a new prototype from an idea because that one didn't work so well. So then they went over to the possible idea number 3. So that's what you could do for an idea, for anything, or for a project. What do you need, what the standards are, possible ideas, and how to make it work. And then if it didn't work, then move on to your next possible idea. So those are those graphic representation. There's just a lot of building different shapes to keep the ideas together. Um, the next section is pretty self-explanatory. It's just about drawing and how that can help get ideas across, and sketching and how that can help us in our mind. So pictographs are just stick figures and symbols that represent ideas and content. This describes relationships and how they're connected and what really went on in the story or in history or how it works. Sketching is about the same thing, but it's just a type of representation of what the student is doing. So for this example, the book gave, they could sketch out the theme for the poem. For math sometimes is hard and you need conceptual knowledge on it, so drawing something helps. If you're working with fractions, you can draw a pie, or you can draw just a block or a strip diagram. For science, sometimes it's easier to just explain something that you're doing by drawing it so that people can see that better. And this also just takes away the intimidation of writing because they can see it in front of them. And then the next type of drawing and sketching is storyboarding, which I think is really fun for students to see because that's how movies are made. So it's just dividing paper into boxes and describing chronological order. And so this could be in the order of reading together in a story, discussing and drawing what they think and how the story went, sharing, creating their own, and being able to retell and revise through that storyboard and then review with that too. So this is a really good way just to be able to check for comprehension. This is generating mental imagery. So mental imagery is something that's really cool about our brain, is that we can automatically imagine anything. So I want to do an exercise first with you guys. So just close your eyes and take a big deep breath, and then just imagine a sunny day and sitting in your kitchen with your family, and that you smell the pie that your mom just baked, and she brings it out, sets it in front of you, and she gives you a big hug. So in that, if you did this correctly and really focused, you would be able to probably smell your favorite type of pie. It would bring back a memory, hear your family talking and laughing. So with mental imagery, it's cool because you can hear it, you can smell it, you can imagine it, it comes with emotion, and it's a lot more than just seeing things. And so using this in the classroom, you can generate so much more fun in education than just here's your concept and go with it. This can be just making it more personal and more tied to their emotion. The last one is performing mental rehearsal. For sports guys in here, this is a great thing that you guys have probably all done before. This is knowledge relating to skill and procedures. It's practicing your mind without actually doing it. So you can imagine just going through plays in your mind and going through them and imagining what your feet are going to be doing, imagine what your hands are going to be doing. Combining this with practice can be very effective for learning, and when teaching or coaching this, it's very important just to explain what mental rehearsal is and why it's important. Then put it in context for your students or your people you're coaching, and then start slow and then speed that up, so that you start with what do you do with your hands, what do you do with your feet, so that it can really be brought together piece by piece by piece. So using all of this in education can be really important just to help give another way to see things. And that was it for chapter 5. Thank you.